When we hear stories about government overreach and individual rights under attack, I know I'll remember this latest shocking example. Who needs Stephen King when you've got Dunedin, Florida for the Lawnmower Man? Here's a horror story for you. It's a story about a 69-year-old man named Jim Ficken, a resident of Dunedin, Florida, and it starts in 2015 when Mr. Ficken, whose mother was very sick in South Carolina, ran afoul of the Dunedin Code Enforcement Board because he left to take care of his mom in South Carolina and his grass grew too high. But you could just see this fade into the background of history, except for what transpired in 2018. You see, Mr. Ficken's mother passed away in 2016, and last July of 2018, he went to South Carolina for 2 weeks to handle matters for her estate. That's when things took a very sad and very strange turn, as Kirby Wilson explains for the Tampa Bay Times. Ficken left Dunedin for 2 weeks in July of 2018 to manage her estate. During that time, the man who mowed his lawn, Russ Kellum, died suddenly. When Ficken got back and tried to mow his overgrown lawn himself, his mower broke. And what better way to greet a man who just came back from managing the affairs of his departed mom and who also just found out that the man he hired to mow his lawn just died, then of course to hit him with a multi-$1,000 fine. It was nearly 2 months before Ficken had any idea he owed the city tens of thousands of dollars, he said. On August 20th, a code enforcement official making his daily rounds told Ficken to expect a big bill from the city. His lawsuit said. That day, Ficken bought a new mower. The next day, August 21st, he mowed his lawn. He also received notice from the city that he was to appear at a hearing with the Code Enforcement Board on September 4th. But Ficken already had very important family matters to handle. He was due in South Carolina to manage another issue with his mother's estate, he said. The board met without him on September 4th and determined his fine would stand. The board also approved a separate fine, alleging that his grass had grown too long again starting August 31st. Ficken said he had no notice of this fine either. Between the two fines, Ficken owed Dunedin $29,833.50 on a house with $125,541 market value, according to the Pinellas County property appraiser. It sure looks absurd. Such a high fine for tall grass levied against a man whose hired mower died while he was away managing the estate of his deceased mother. Well, to simply look at this absurdity could be satisfying, but there are some deeper lessons we can get from this. In fact, I would recommend that people looking at this story, pardon the pun, don't get lost in the weeds of normalcy bias. So the point here to me is that this man owns the property, not the city. His act of growing the grass over 10 inches brings no direct harm to anyone else's property or life, which was supposed to be the threshold beyond which the polis was to have the power to punish, according to British common law and Lockean natural rights, the basis of American jurisprudence. To haggle over how high the grass grew or how long he violated their mandate is to accept the noxious notion that there really aren't such things as private property and self-ownership, to adopt the poisonous premise that the government can set standards on how you can own property, when or where you can own property, is to admit the ideological sepsis of collectivism into one's mind. And it prevents people from seeing the opportunities that arise when real private property arrangements are set up. That's why when you have private residencies, they can enter into those residencies with real agreements. They don't have to worry about politicians constantly swooping down and changing the rules with licensing and zoning and all sorts of requirements, or political favoritism that might harm them. It's a difference between private property ownership and the public sphere coming into and attacking your private property. Something very important to learn. Wish the best of luck to Mr. Ficken and to anyone else who might run afoul of the mighty boards out there. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed some of these videos, and I hope you appreciate the fact that so many of the people at MRC-TV really appreciate that you're watching. Thank you so much. We know you're very busy. Don't forget, like and subscribe and tell your friends about us. For MRC-TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.